I haven't told a Tokoloshe story on this page in so long. You do not want to watch this one at night. I am back with another spooky story. This one is yet another submission from South Africa. The person said, "Hey Rebecca, I thought I'd never share this. This happened to me and I'm sorry if I butcher this. KwaZulu-Natal, KwaZulu-Natal, and it still makes their blood run cold." I'm gonna call the person who submitted the story Toya. But Oya always thought that Tokoloshe stories were just bedtime stories. Just threats that parents used to make to scare kids. That is until she met one. In 2020, she was renting a small room behind an old woman's house in, I'm sorry if I butcher this again, Pietermaritzburg. That woman always told her to keep a Bible open by her bed, and for some reason to sleep with her bed raised off the ground. Toya laughed it off, thinking it was just all superstition. One night around 2 a.m., she woke up feeling like something heavy was sitting on her chest. Yeah, I heard that, right? She woke up feeling something heavy sitting on her chest, and she could not move. She tried to scream, but her voice wouldn't come out. She said it felt like something was pressing down on her throat. Her eyes just started darting around the room, and that is when she saw it. At the end of her bed stood this thing, small and hunched, and its skin looks like burnt leather, and its eyes were glowing, almost like a cat. It was almost like grinning at her. She said it was so weird because she could hear it breathe. It was like a wet, rough sound. And the nightmare doesn't stop there, because it started to climb up the blanket, slow and deliberate, like the thing knew that she couldn't fight back laying on the bed. It climbed all up her body, and when it reached her chest, it leaned close and whispered something in a language that she did not understand. It says her ears started ringing really bad. It feels like its tongue touched her cheeks. It says then out of nowhere, she's thinking that this is a weird nightmare, but turns out, no, she was up the whole time. Because then the old woman that she rented the room from burst into the room, shouting prayers in Zulu and throwing salt at the creature. The creature shrieked, like it made this like loud screaming sound, and the creature just vanished by the door. The minute the creature disappeared, Toya was able to sat up gasping for air, drenched in sweat. The old lady made her get out of the bed, lifted the mattress, and showed her something that wanted to make her vomit. Tiny black footprints were burnt into the floorboards, and then proceeded on telling her that someone in that area sent that Tokoloshe after her. That jealousy makes people do things that you cannot imagine. The next morning, Toya says that she raised her bed on bricks, placed salt in every corner, she was not playing, and burned, sorry if I butcher this again, empepo or empefo sage until the entire room smelled like smoke. She says she will never sleep on flat ground again. She prays every night. She definitely keeps her Bible open. It hasn't happened since. She says now that she is out of that neighborhood, she never experienced anything like that again. She said that was the weirdest night of her life. She thought she was undergoing psychosis. Anyway, thank you for submitting your story. Make sure you guys are following me for more spooky content. Like I say at the end of every single video, I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. Oh, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Duh. Somebody submitted a spooky story saying that Nigeria has zombies, like The Walking Dead. I am back with another spooky story. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story T. And T says that he really doesn't tell people this story because every time he starts to talk about it, it's just scary and uncomfortable. He gets these goosebumps all over his body. But he says that since I read stories from all over, maybe somebody else has seen what he saw. So this happened, and I'm sorry if I butcher this, in Ogbomosho last year. So at the time, he was working nights at a small suya stand near the highway. His shift was ending around 3 a.m., but around 2:40 that night, something strange happened. He started to smell wet earth out of nowhere. And he says it wasn't like rain, it was like freshly dug grave earth. He says the generator started acting funny, making like this choking sound. At first, he thought that maybe something spilled. Then he starts hearing footsteps walking in his general direction. And it sounded like slow, but like dragging footsteps. And he says that the walking had like this strange rhythm to it. Like it didn't sound like somebody that was walking on 2 feet. It was making a rhythm like, we will rock you. I'm sorry. So at first he thought maybe it was an animal dragging something. And it sounds like the footsteps are getting closer and closer. He's looking around, the road is empty, no bikes, no cars. And as he's flashing his flashlight, something moves in the corner of his flashlight. And T says, I swear to God, it looked like a man in burial cloth. A fresh burial cloth. The same kind that they used for his cousin 2 weeks prior. And he's looking, trying to like focus his vision, and this man's skin, something's not right. His skin itself was gray and it looked swollen, and there were mud dripping down his fingertips. And T is still trying to make out what he's seeing. Again, the footsteps is not matching this thing walking toward him. But T says if you thought this was terrifying, it gets worse, because what made him drop his phone wasn't the body, it was the shadow. The shadow on the ground had multiple limbs, crawling ahead of him like a spider. T says, I know this sounds crazy, which is why I don't tell this story, but I swear at what I saw. The thing lifted his head and it was like his neck was broken and there was mud coming out of his mouth. It sounds like he's murmuring something as if he's wanting to speak. T says, I didn't think. I ran. Finally. Now T says, as he's running, the footsteps behind him multiplies. Sounds like there's 4 feet, then 6, then 8. Sounds like a crew of people behind him at this point, and it just sounds like more people are just joining in. When he finally reaches the village entrance, there were a couple of people outside. He says when he got to the village and he finally looked back, it looked like there were dozens of those creatures behind him. And they were all wearing burial cloths that were soaked like they just came straight from the grave. And their bodies were droopy. They looked like puppets almost. And of course, the weird shadows. T says that he doesn't remember fainting, but he woke up inside of someone else's shop at sunrise. And the Suya Stand's generator had been snapped in half, like clean. His hat was also found in the dirt. The other villagers that saw him come in, that saw what happened, believed him. There's a lot of other people that didn't see it that don't believe him. So a lot of people think that he's just hallucinating. But he says that he swears that there are zombies in Oyo State, Nigeria. Thank you guys so much for watching this spooky stories, and thank you guys so much for 300,000 followers. I see at the end of every single video, I love you, my blessed humans, from your absolute favorite Haitian homegirl. My father's been bringing me food, and this is what he bought me to eat this week, okay? Now, I know I missed a couple of weeks, but me and my father, we don't have like a consistent thing going on. It's kind of like we talk when we talk and we're not very family oriented. But today, he literally popped up on me to drop off food. Like, he didn't even tell me he was coming. He literally just called me and was like, your door is locked and I have food. And mind you, I just bought myself some Haitian food yesterday. Oh, yes! Oh my God! Okay, this is real excitement because he made me my favorite thing. This is lalo, and if you know, between lalo and legume, like I really love me some lalo, okay? Lalo is better than legume. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Do you hear me? But the thing is with lalo, people can really mess this up a lot more than they can mess up legume, okay? And my father, he does not mess up lalo. And he made this himself. Let me open it up so you guys can get like a closer look at what it looks like. I don't know what you call this leaf, but it's like this green leaf, and it has like meat inside of it. It is so yummy. All right, next, let's see. With black rice, our traditional Haitian black rice. If you know, you know. This is mushroom rice. Indeed, John, you don't eat this every day, okay? So in a sense, this kind of feels like a celebratory meal or like a Sunday dinner. I'm so grateful for my dad. Like, I love this. Even though I did buy food yesterday, I bought legume yesterday. But trust me, I will definitely make use of this throughout the week. Ciao. Burna Boy, are you good? Don't piss me off today. What do you mean you kicked a woman out of your show because she fell asleep? And I'm talking like he refused to perform another song until she left. Mind you, her and her boyfriend went to the concert that he came out late to. She's feeling tired. She fell asleep. First of all, that's a very expensive nap, so let me take it. But Burna Boy was not with the shits as he looked to the crowd and he says, you take your gal home. She can't stay here in the front. It's pissing me off watching her sleep. And then I went down this rabbit hole and I'm like, wait a minute. I don't think people should fuck with him, period. He's kind of a scary man. Like you can see it in his face. Like, you can see it in his eyes. That's a very scary looking man. Like, I would not want to be alone with him. And not to mention, most of the videos of him that were coming up, he has very violent tendencies. There was a fan that jumped on the stage and kind of came toward him. Now, this one I don't necessarily fault him for. He kicked the fuck out that fan. If that was an insulated incident, I'd be like, okay, well, it wasn't a big deal. But no, there was yet another video of him on stage performing. And mind you, he's holding like hands with the fans and shit. And suddenly he looks down. Mind you, he's up on a platform. He looks down and he just kicks somebody in the head. When I tell you that was a kick, kick the fuck out that person. There was another video of him just smashing a guitar on the stage, and I guess, like, you know, it's the rock and roll thing to do, but nigga looked like a kid throwing a tantrum or an adult letting off some steam. If you tell me that this man, this face doesn't have anything dark behind him, I don't know what to tell you. But I see that shit. So yeah, I prefer the video anyway. This woman attempted to do horrible things to her stepchildren. Little did she know, though, that those kids were protected by a Haitian law. I am back with another spooky story. We're gonna call the person who submitted this story Tasha. So Tasha said that she had this friend. Well, ex-friend. Because after what her ex-friend told her she tried to do, Tasha says she cut her off completely. So Tasha's ex-friend was a white woman who was dating a white guy with 2 biracial daughters that he had with a Caribbean woman. They weren't together anymore, but he and the mom shared custody of the kids. And Tasha says that they were two beautiful little girls. Now, her ex-friend, we're gonna call her Karen. So Karen starts telling Tasha that she felt uncomfortable that her man's ex was black, and she felt like his kids were too pretty. She said every time he had the kids over, he would just spend a lot of time with them. I mean, as he should. And well, Karen started getting jealous. Then it got dark. Well, Karen said that she started to hate the kids. She admitted that she felt like she wanted to hurt them. And every single time she even thought about harming those kids, she would get violently sick. Hives, stomach flu, random pains. She would fight her man over the kids being there on their custody time. And things got so bad that eventually, Karen's man had to tell his ex-girlfriend that his new girlfriend wasn't comfortable having the children around. At the time he's telling her this, it's his custody time, not hers. Anyway, Karen told Tasha after months of hating those kids, she tried doing things to them. However, every time she tried something bad would happen to Karen's family. Her mom got sick. She got sick. Hell, she almost got into accidents. Then Karen tells Tasha that she started to dream about the children's mother. Dreams where the mother would show up and fight her. She'd wake up sore and bruised. And 1 month before a barbecue that her man was hosting, her mom and brother got into a horrible accident. Tasha went to the hospital with Karen, and Karen's family were in critical condition. And that's when everybody in the friend group started seeing a pattern. The energy around Karen was bad. And that's when everybody in the friend group started avoiding her. But then came the final straw. Another barbecue rolled around. The kid's mom had to pick up the girls from the event. Karen told Tasha that she hasn't been sleeping well because she saw shadows in her room, dreamt of being chased, covered in worms, graveyard dirt, everything. She was going through the ringer. Karen said that she woke up screaming several nights in a row. So, the day of the barbecue, she put on makeup, dressed up because she knew the kid's mom was gonna be there. Karen said that the woman came up to her, introduced herself, and they talked politely about the kids. The mom even said, "I know they can be a hassle sometimes, just trying to make small talk." But Karen wanted to be petty. So she goes on to tell the woman how her man is taking her on these trips, buying her these expensive gifts, how she's so happy just to get under this woman's skin. Karen told Tasha that the kid's mom just smiled and said, "That's nice. I hope he treats you better than he treated me." Then the mom turned to walk away with her kids, but looked back and said, "By the way, how have you been sleeping?" And Karen said a chill ran through her entire body. She lied and she said, "Like a baby." To which the woman said, "Good. I hope you're having nothing but sweet dreams. It was nice to finally meet you." Smiled again and walked to the car. Well, Karen knew at that moment that that woman was not somebody to play with. But did Karen learn her lesson? She didn't. I'm shadow banned, so I'm forced to do part 2s. It's part 2 Tuesdays. Like, I don't know what to tell y'all. Just come back for part 2. Leave a comment. I love y'all. And you can't yell at me. It's my birthday week. This woman named Karen started dating this guy and immediately hated his kids. Them stepkids, she did not like them at all. She also did not like the fact that her boyfriend's ex was black. So she went on to attempt a lot of crazy stuff on those kids. And every time she would report back to her friend that we call Tasha in this story, and Tasha started to notice that every time she even thought about harming those kids, there were consequences. The last place that we left off was when Karen officially met the ex-girlfriend. Now again, the ex-girlfriend been haunting Karen in her dreams. Karen's been going through a lot behind the scenes, but decided to show off in front of this lady anyway. After the ex tells her, "I hope you continue having sweet dreams," although Karen knew that that wasn't someone she should continue messing with, she didn't stop. After that interaction, Karen calls another friend to ask for advice. That person told her that she needed a spiritual reading because her life was literally falling apart. Karen didn't believe in mediums, but she went anyway. Karen told Tasha that the medium pulled the following cards. Pay attention. The Devil card, the Moon card, the Tower, and 7 of Swords. The medium told her, "Whatever you are trying to do to that woman's kids, stop. Their mother is deep into Haitian Voodoo. She is a devotee of a lwas. Those children are heavily protected by Ezeli Dantor and Ogu." The medium goes on to say, "If you know what's good for you in your whole bloodline, you will leave those kids and that man alone." Karen ran out scared. but she still didn't listen. This medium that she didn't believe in the first place wasn't gonna stop her from doing what she wanted to do. Karen told Tasha that she went online searching ways to suffocate kids. Girl, why did her mother and brother die in the hospital around the same time Karen was telling Tasha all of this? Tasha said she was done. Karen told Tasha that she felt she needed to confess to someone in case something happened to her. And the way she said it, Tasha was spooked out of her mind. After that, Tasha said she never spoke to Karen again. All Tasha knows is Karen lost her job, lost her mom, lost her brother, and she lost that man. Tasha says, I don't play with evil. I stay far, far away. That was a hell of a story. Thank you for submitting that story. If you have a spooky story that you want me to tell, feel free to submit it to me right here on TikTok or on Instagram. And while you're on my Instagram, follow me on Instagram just so that I know that it's real. Duh, the link is at the top of my page. And for longer, better, and spookier stories, you better check out my YouTube channel. I post every week, sometimes twice a week. That's at the end of every single video. I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. What is going on in South Africa? This guy sold his soul to a mermaid spirit. I am back with another spooky story. This one is yet another submission from Eastern Cape, South Africa. Yeah. The person said, I'd like to stay anonymous because even now, I still don't feel safe telling this story. I'm gonna call the person who submitted this story BK. BK says that she's from Eastern Cape near, I'm sorry if I butcher this, Mtata? Where she grew up, people always warned them about, again, sorry if I butcher this, Abantu Bomlambo. Water spirits, mermaids, the ones who grant gifts but take something in return. BK never believed any of it. But her cousin, who we'll call Lita, believed a little too much. Lita was 22 when it all started. He was desperate. No job, no money, his girlfriend was pregnant and he felt like a failure. One night, he told BK that he found a woman who can help him become rich in 7 days. BK thought it was a scam, but the way his eyes looked, it was like something had already convinced him. And he told her that she's not human, she's from the river. BK's thinking he's joking. Until she started to notice certain things. He kept waking up with wet clothes. There were wet footprints that led to his bedroom, as if someone was visiting him at night. He said that he was dreaming of this woman with blue skin, long locks floating under the water. The eyes glowed white. She kept calling his name, saying that she could give him everything. Lita told BK that he was scared, but he was tempted. One night around 3 a.m., BK woke up to him pacing outside, shirtless, mumbling something. And when she approaches him, he realized like he wasn't talking, he was actually chanting. She asked him, bro, what are you doing? And he told her, I'm being summoned. And his voice sounded weird and distorted. BK's like, he's losing it. I don't have time for this. She goes back inside. Well, the next morning, he was gone. And they searched for him for hours until someone shouted from the riverbank. When they got there, Lita was standing waist deep in the water, eyes rolled back, whispering something to the water, and the river wasn't calm. It looked like it was swirling all around him. Before they could reach him, he dropped under. Everybody is screaming. The uncle jumps in, tries to swim to him. After a minute, Lita just floats back up, unconscious but alive. When he woke up that evening, he didn't remember much of anything. But he kept saying she accepted the offer. A week later, he had money, a car, a new phone. Lita went around telling people that his newfound fortune actually came from a business opportunity, but everybody around him knew better. While enjoying his newfound wealth, well, strange things started happening. He couldn't stand sunlight anymore. He kept hearing voices coming from the bathroom. Every morning, he would wake up with his feet covered in river mud. Sometimes he would wake up in various places that he doesn't remember going to. One night, BK heard him crying from his room. She opened the door. There he was, sitting on the floor, shaking. He told her she's coming to collect, but what he didn't know was that she wanted him in return. And that's when everything got worse. Maybe don't accept anything from mermaid spirits, guys. This story is spooky as fuck. I already know I'm gonna have to make y'all come back for a part 2. But you also can't say anything because I dropped another video today. So this is two spooky stories in one day. And also, you can't be rude. It's my birthday week. So, you know, comment part 2. I'll be back very soon, sooner than you think. So I did it, y'all. I did it. I managed to get my 4C hair to look this good. First of all, can we take a moment for the curls for a second? Look at the material. I was gonna say you bitches could never, but y'all could. It's a wig. It's a very easy, ready to go type of wig. And you can adjust it, style it to basically look like the hair that you desire. which, by the way, I did trim mine. As you can see, this is literally how easy it is to put on. Wow, I actually like it as a side part even more. Hold on. Why does this eat? Yes. So whatever you do, don't make a deal with a water spirit. I am back with part 2 of this spooky story. So Lita made a deal with the mermaid and he got everything he wanted. Money, businesses flowing, new car, and he's able to take care of his pregnant girlfriend. However, all of that will come crashing down when Mermaid will come back to collect. Now, Lita started experiencing weird things. At first, it was very subtle, easy to ignore, but then later on, he really couldn't ignore them. At first, it was the tapping sound coming from his bathroom, not being able to stand in sunlight for too long, and no one knew what that was about. Every time he would go to take a shower, even if he was indoors, the water would smell like the ocean. No matter where he was, he became paranoid that the spirit was around him, watching him. Well, eventually, he started having nightmares. In a dream that he had, a mermaid spirit came to him. One that he didn't remember this face before, because this particular spirit to him is hideous. Looked like their skin was peeling, long, thin black hair, scary, jagged teeth. Lita probably thinking that he was gonna get eaten alive. But the spirit told him that it was time for him to come to the water and pay his debts. BK says despite everything going on beneath the surface, Lita's life on Earth was going pretty well. So he didn't want to return to the water. Every night that he would go to sleep, the more and more he refused to return, he would have these horrific dreams where he's being attacked by these creatures. And in real time, he would wake up with bruises all over his body. It got to a point where Lita was so stressed that he refuses to go to sleep. So he started using drugs to escape. And it wasn't shortly after that that he started coming across like a crazy man, running up and down the streets warning people that these mermaid spirits are after him. Things got so bad. Remember how Lita's girlfriend was pregnant? She went from having a perfectly healthy pregnancy to one day just miscarried. The baby just died. At that point, Lita's family took him in. They did a lot of prayers on him. They bathed him a lot. And it looked like Lita was like in this state of psychosis. It took him months of prayers and holy baths for him to finally get back to a point where he was making sense again. Well, his girlfriend left him and he also lost everything. And his car exploded. All in all, Lita got nothing. So BK wants y'all to know, take it from her cousin. Do not make a deal with mermaid spirits. Now, I know I took a couple of days to get back with part 2, but it's my birthday week. And today is my birthday. Hold the applause. No, seriously. You'll have to come back later to see my birthday look. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Until the next spooky story from your favorite Haitian homegirl. This is someone's experience being possessed. And this one is yet another submission from South Africa. I am back with another spooky story, and you actually don't want to watch this one at night. Hello, my Haitian sister. I have a spooky story for you all the way from South Africa. This will be creepy, and I advise you to watch it at night. It hits different. So the person who submitted the story wants you to watch this late at night. Okay. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Bay. So this happened in 2022 when Bay was in 12th grade during finals week. So Bay and a few friends asked one of their teachers if they could have a study camp because they were accounting and business students. The teacher, for some reason, offered them her old house. There were a mix of boys and girls. Now, everybody wasn't that close, but they all knew each other. So for the first few days of living together, everyone was cooperative and tolerant. They created a system: who cleans, wash dishes, who cooks. The boys did the more heavy-duty tasks, like fetching water for cooking and drinking, because water in the house wasn't drinkable. They also took turns showering, as there was only one bathroom. And there were 2 bedrooms facing each other. Boys took one room and the other girls took the other side. Nothing creepy happened at first, but one of the girls started to casually piss everybody off. Let's call her Zizi. Nobody liked Zizi from the beginning because she was dramatic, rude, and always tried to push people around. They tolerated her until they couldn't anymore. They called the teacher and they voted her out of the study group. She was sent home 3 days into the camp. Like, how insufferable could you be? So after Zizi left, there was finally some peace. They all focused on studying. Now, on the 5th night, just 2 days after Zizi left, the group started praying and one of the girls began acting weird. Her eyes would twitch and roll all the way back. She kept saying she felt hot whenever they prayed or worshiped. Her best friend claimed she gets like this because it's an ancestral gift. Yeah, right. They brushed it off and basically ended the prayer quickly because everybody was uncomfortable. But that wasn't the only strange thing. But one night, while they were praying, the more they prayed, the worse she reacted. This time she started convulsing, screaming in a language that nobody understood, and just staring at them. And that's when everybody realized she was possessed. They prayed for over 2 hours in the boys' room. And the creepiest part, they saw shadows moving outside, and it only rained inside of the compound of their house. Nowhere else. When they stopped praying, the rain also stopped. In the morning, everything around the house was soaked, but the neighbors' houses in the street were completely dry. It made no sense. So let's call the girl who's possessed Tessa. So life went back to normal. During the day, everybody's doing what they have to do. During that day, they prayed again, and things got worse. They held hands, and the stronger they prayed, the more the demon lashed out. It started jumping from Tessa to the rest of them, but it was only among the girls. Now, when it entered Bae, the person who submitted the story, she felt this burning sensation, like she was on fire. Suddenly, she could see not with her eyes, but with her spirit. No matter how much she blinked, she couldn't snap out of it. She says all she could see was Tessa in a cage in a place that looked like hell. Everything was burning and souls were being tortured. Every time she ran to her to open the cage to save her, she turned into a demon, she being Tessa. Whenever she tried to run towards the light or portal to escape, Tessa would transform again. At this point, Tessa is fighting to open her eyes. She could hear everybody praying louder and louder. When she finally snapped out of it, she was crying. Everyone was scared of her. And when she explained what she saw, everybody was just looking at each other and looking back at her, horrified. Another girl got possessed next. Let's call her Ginger. What she described scared everybody so badly that they had to kick her out the room as everybody continued praying, as it rained with thunder and lightning. So from the kitchen, Ginger calls out to everybody, claiming she saw a dark shadow and blue light enter the girl's bedroom. So when Tessa's friend finally walks in, something told her, check one of the girl's food parcels. And inside this unopened cereal box, she found brown coins. Everybody freaked out and called a nearby pastor. Luckily, the boys knew a man of God who lived close by, came and prayed for all of them and talked to Tessa while she was possessed. And the pastor said that this demon was put on Tessa by a family member to destroy her. And he warned them, do not pray with that girl, only for yourselves, because whatever was inside of her could destroy everybody. So Tessa leaves and everybody just tries to forget that night. Since none of them had exams the next day, they decided to unwind the evening. It was getting dark and everybody was doing a little smoke session, and most everybody that was there joined. They had Russian beers and 3 big rolls. And once everybody was smacked, strange things started happening again. They couldn't say it was hallucination. Tessa was standing in the corner saying weird things and looking at them in a way that didn't feel human. For some reason, this is all that this person submitted. There's no part 2. This is all they submitted. Thank you guys so much for watching this spooky story. If you have a spooky story that you want me to tell, feel free to submit it to me right here on TikTok or on Instagram. If you want better, longer, and spookier stories, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I want to say thank you all my abducted humans for all the birthday wishes. You guys made me feel so special this weekend. From your favorite Haitian homegirl. Okay, so I just got back from Mexico, and whatever you do, if you are a young black woman, do not book with the Hotel VU Dunamar. I don't even know where to start, from the racism to the rudeness to the possibly trafficking. I don't know where to begin. First of all, upon walking into the hotel, one of the staff threatened to cancel our entire reservation. Mind you, I said nothing to this man. Since we walked into the hotel, it seems like nobody really cared to help us. So we're all getting overstimulated trying to figure out the Wi-Fi situation. I'm not even talking to the guy. I'm literally talking to one of my friends. He says to me, if I keep talking like this in this tone, he's going to cancel my reservation altogether, because I shouldn't be like this around his staff or fellow people. I have to reiterate that I wasn't being loud. I said nothing to this man. I was voicing my frustration and my overstimulation to my friend. And this man cuts into my conversation and threatened to cancel our entire reservation. I didn't even say anything rude to my friends. I just had an attitude. I said nothing to that man. We officially got our rooms. Automatically, I already knew staying there was gonna be uncomfortable. And uncomfortable it was. Outside of the very clear racial discrimination, like I remember we were all chilling in the balcony, playing some music in a resort. It's about 6 p.m. and they have a party going on actually right in front of our room. It was around dinner time, so nobody was really in their hotel rooms. We were, because we were still getting ready. We have our music playing. Again, it's a regular speaker from Amazon. We're talking, laughing. Suddenly, I look up and I noticed that one of the staff across the other balcony is sneaking pictures of us. This person is taking pictures of us. So we're like, yo, what the heck is that about? They come knocking on our door like the police. It says, hey, I need all of y'all to come downstairs. I need y'all to sign some paperwork because y'all are being too disruptive. Y'all are being too loud. It's the weed smoke. I can tell that you guys were smoking weed. We were on the balcony. balcony outside. But originally they said that they were bringing us downstairs over a noise complaint. Now you're talking about weed that we smoked outside. Now I'm starting to think that no one complained. And after they made us sign that paperwork, and mind you, they were so rude. We get back upstairs, there was nobody even in that hallway. Everybody was downstairs partying, having a good time. It's fine because, we were laughing, having a good time. First of all, the amount of stares that you get is crazy. At first, you would think they're staring because you're pretty. The staring comes from the staff and other people vacationing. There's a difference between somebody looking at you because they think you're pretty, and somebody looking at you because they cannot believe you're here. The look that some of them gave us was just straight up ominous and scary. While my stay in the hotel, people were coming up to us and taking pictures of us. I didn't want to think anything of it. Again, I'm drunk. I'm not thinking anything of anything. This guy asked to take a picture of us. We take a picture with him and his homeboy. When I turned around, I noticed that the picture that man took of us, he was sending in a group chat in WhatsApp. Why did you take a picture of us and send it? When I tell you, people would walk up to us without our consent, without even asking, and just take pictures. And as you can see, I'm like, oh, she literally took her pictures and walked away. In that particular situation, I didn't think anything of. We're chilling again that same night. Somebody walks up to me and my friends, point to us, said this one, and just starts taking out pictures and walked away. The only thing that saved me was my ancestors and the fact that there was a man there with us, whom, by the way, people were trying to get drunk. They would see girls are drunk and try to get them drunker. They weren't just taking pictures of me and my other black friends. They were taking pictures of anybody there that seemed too drunk. They took a picture of the guy that came with us and other men that were around that seemed really drunk. And you think I'm gonna run to the staff and tell them that I feel unsafe? I don't want to say it's every single worker. It was a large majority of them. They said that they saw us fighting. Why would we be fighting on a girls' trip for my homegirl's birthday? They accused us straight up. Didn't care to hear what we had to say. Straight up rudeness of the staff. And my bestie said that she thinks it's because it's like based on a tipping culture and they assumed that we were young and that we weren't gonna tip. I genuinely think it was racism. Not to mention when I did the excursion, I wind up getting my period on my way to the place. So cramps start kicking in and they're bad. They're pretty bad. Get to the excursion place. It's so bad that I'm literally asking everybody around if they have cramp pills. If you have any painkillers, I asked everybody. The girl that worked in the front desk was the first person that I asked. Keep that in mind. She told me no. I proceeded on squirming because, again, this excursion is out of nowhere, so I can't just go home. I am squirming, crying. I can't even focus. That's how much pain I was in. One person came up to me and asked me if I was okay. That was one of the other people that were here for the excursion. We asked to see a boss. Again, I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm in so much pain. Thinking about this story makes me want to cry so much. I never thought that people looked at me as an animal until that moment. I got the boss and he went and got me a heat compress, which I was so grateful for. He says, let me look around to see if I could find you a painkiller. Now, again, I've been here for an hour screaming and crying. Like literally like back and forth. Like I can barely breathe. I can barely think. Like everything is hurting. The guy comes back out. He gives me a hot compress and then he gives me 2 painkillers. You know what he tells me? That he got the painkillers from the lady who's at the front desk. The lady who I asked first if she had painkillers and said no. The boss told me that me and her were syncing, like we had the same cycle. I asked for this for over an hour and I was willing to pay for it. And I'll tell you, my feelings are so hurt over this because I would never ever stand there and watch another woman, knowing what it feels like to have cramps, watch another woman squirm. I don't care her race, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, I don't give a fuck. Knowing that I have the ability to help them, but I don't. And I stand there and I stare at them with no sympathy in the world. In that moment, I realized that no matter what black people do, no matter how much we fight for other people, no matter how much sympathy and empathy we have, other people don't feel like that towards us. That girl watching me struggle and damn near die for an hour, knowing that she could have helped me an hour ago, taught me everything I needed to know. To know that I visited Mexico once, and I'm glad I got to go. Maybe if I stayed somewhere different, I don't know. That was my experience staying at a luxury resort, and I just wish it was better.